Now to our first conversation. Africa's biggest economy, talking about Nigeria, is already spending more money on just debt servicing. And with a worsening financial crisis, what's the way forward? Let's have that conversation now with Mr. Paul Alaje, senior economist, SPM Professionals. We have him right there on Zoom. Mr. Alaje, I don't know if you can hear me. Great to have you. So,
good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, great to have you on for the first time. It's been a while I've seen you on the show. But I see debt is mounting, and I'm hearing chatter that there might be an IMF bailout conversation in the offing. And I'm wondering, how are you seeing it?
Well, I think it will be a good one. IMF had informed Nigeria earlier in the year, around May, that Nigeria may have a window for doing this. So if we are going to have that bailout system, I think it will go a long way to help the country with the burden of service. And you recall that the presentation by the minister, it revealed that we are spending so much in terms of service of debt, even though that these arrangements, if it works out, will not be a permanent solution. The reason is because when you look at the component of our debt of our debt profile, a lot of private loans, if you like, talking about bond, talking about treasury bills, both local and those that are international in nature, talking about Eurobond, many of those are not what we can do something about on the immediate, because it is purely market driven and it's not what government can meet. Unlike when we talk to international to an international institution such as IMF, but talking to IMF, I think we bring a lot of succor to the country right now, because from the revelation shared by the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, that in Q1 of this year we spent far more than what we realized in revenue to service debt alone. So the question is, how have we been getting money to perform responsibility of government and to provide the basic amenities for our people?
And what if we don't get a bailout? What next?
You know, the burden of debt continue to tie round on our neck. And I've called it the kiss of debt, because if what we are generating revenue is not enough to service debt, then government will need to do more in terms of revenue. And if you ask me, between restructuring loan and getting more revenue, which do I think is the relatively permanent solution to Nigerian government? I would say is finding revenue. President Buhari agreed with this November or December 2019 when he said, 2018, when he said the largest concern he has now is not whether he will win election in 2019 or not, but the largest concern he has now is that when and if he wins, how will he finance government? And we are seeing that concern play out even this moment today.
And, well, it's a pre-election year, and next year a new government is going to be taking over the helms of affairs there. But what do you think should be their first move when they get into office?
The first move is, how do I generate revenue? Nigeria has potential of generating up to 40 trillion naira revenue today. Unfortunately, what we are doing in terms of revenue is far below that. We are looking at approximately 7, 8, or 9 trillion. We are not able to do at federal government level up to 10 trillion naira, and that is worrisome for a population with over 200 million, an economy worth over $400 billion. Where is the money? And I think this is the question that should be asked. And many have suggested maybe government should increase taxes. You've seen government saying it wants to impose 5% tax on mobile calls. And I wonder if that will really help, because when you impose a lot of taxes in that way on the people, especially generality of the population, you might not really be able to separate the rich from the poor, even though you say it is, what kind of tax will that be? Will it be progressive? Will it be proportional tax, or will it be a regressive tax? And if it's flat rate of, if it is 5% on all calls, then you don't say the rich is paying more. But there are things where the rich buy that government have not been able to tax. And someone who also work in revenue line and as a revenue collector, I can tell you that this country has a lot of potentials, but we are perhaps using the wrong system, the wrong approach to generate revenue. And whosoever becomes the president of the Federal Republic, he must understand that for you to lead the people correctly, for you to provide for people's needs, and for you to be the chief executive indeed, you must generate, if you cannot do 40 trillion, you must do 20 trillion naira in revenue starting from 2024. How can that be done? It is possible, it can be done, and I strongly believe it can be achieved.
Right, quite a lot of work for the next president to do, talking about the Nigerian economy. But thank you so much, Mr. Paul Alaje, senior economist, SPM Professionals. It's great having your perspective this morning.
Thank you for having me.
All right, now, so that was Mr. Paul Alaje there. So after the break, we look at the state of the power sector in Nigeria and the federal government inaugurating a new board. That's our next discussion. Do stay with us. This is Business Morning.